If this thermal optic is as good as they say, this is going to be a very popular product. We're going to go over all the pros and cons after my testing that I've done and go over the initial impression. There's gonna be a couple parts to this video because of how much is going on with this optic. At first, we're gonna go through the review, and then later we're gonna go over how to actually use the optic itself, because there's a lot of settings in here, and a lot of that I didn't even know about until I dive deeper into the manual, which I highly recommend reading the manual because there's a lot of options in this, and it only looks like you can do a couple things, but when you start messing around a little bit more, you really unlock the power of this optic, and it's pretty cool. So we'll go over that. I'll put a timestamp here if you're here just interested in how this thing works. But let's get right into the first 30-second breakdown. That's where in the first 30 seconds, give or take, I give you guys my exact thoughts on this product before we get into the full review. That way you can stop watching because now you know exactly what I think, or you can continue watching, find out why I say those things in more detail, and it does help out with the YouTube algorithm, so I appreciate that. For the price of $1,600, I think this thing is pretty incredible, and if you are looking for a more budget side to thermal, this is probably one you're gonna wanna go for. One of the cool benefits being the fact that it's not just a dedicated thermal optic. You can switch this and just run a red dot optic. It's going to be very similar to AMS. You have that 3 reticle system, and it runs just like that. You can turn it on, off, just like your normal red dot if you don't want to use anything thermal related, or if you want to use the thermal, flip that up, and now you have thermal capabilities just like that. Now, does this compare with a $4,000 thermal that a lot of us are using? Absolutely not. This is $1,600. It's a red dot thermal combination, but when you compare this to the price and what this is going to be used for and what most people are going to want this for, this is a pretty incredible optic that Holosun has made. And what's crazy is this is just the first iteration. This is Gen 1. The technology and the fact that they're really pushing the industry to create new things is awesome, and I'm really excited to see what they come out with a Gen 2 or what other companies will come out to compete with this. Now, there are some cons with the fact that it is not as clear as it could be. When you start magnifying it up to the 5 times, it gets pretty grainy. You can still see heat signatures, but you're not going to really be able to tell exactly what you're looking at, so identifying things is a little bit harder when you're stretching it out longer distances, but this actually does get that heat signature to quite the distance. There's going to be a lot of B-roll in this video showing you guys exactly how this goes because this does record. So I can take pictures and record internally with this, no SD card required, and a lot of the video is going to be coming from that, along with me just videotaping with a night vision camera. So just make sure you know that obviously because of the fact that I had to record it, put it on the computer, transfer it from the computer to my phone, from the phone to an editing app, to the editing app, to saving the video, to YouTube, there is going to obviously be some downgraded quality. So what you're seeing is as good as we can show you, but it's going to be a little bit better than what you're seeing. First, let's get into my relationship with Holosun, and let's get right into the full video. Holosun did send this product to me pre-release. I do appreciate them doing that. I was able to get some rounds through this and test this before it was released to give you guys a full thoughts video on this so you can make a better decision if it's something you want. Let's go over the companies that are incredibly nice. Brownells and Ammo Squared. They're so nice. I love them very much, and you guys should love them as well. Appreciate Brownells and everything they do, not only for me, but for the community and you guys. They are incredible, and they do a ton. They donate so much money and a part of different brands and organizations and help different events happen. They're incredible, and I would love if you guys would go to tacticalhazard.net and see how nice they are. Brownells, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys can show them some love. And then Ammo Squared, if you guys need to invest not only in gold, silver, or cash at the bank, you can invest in ammo. And this is really, really cool and unique, and there's a lot of really neat features that I would love to talk about, but unfortunately on this platform, I can't do that. So if you want to, go over there and make an account, and when you're doing that, mention Tactical Advisor, or you found it on YouTube or Livestream or Rumble or whatever, and just show them that I generated that traffic, and I think you're really gonna like what you can do there, and you can invest in bullets. But they are also incredibly nice, so I'd love it if you guys would check these guys out and see how nice they are. Thank you to Brownells and Ammo Squared. So what's so special about this optic, and why does it have so much hype around it? It's because it is something so new to the market that no one else has. The price point is crazy at $1,600. You cannot find thermal software or optics like this for that price anywhere. Whether you're doing like a clip-on to add on to an optic, or you're doing a dedicated thermal, $1,600 for what you're getting is pretty awesome. Now, the red dot itself is very similar to what an AMS is. So if you have an AMS or you've used one, it's all gonna be basically the same. Now, that's gonna be the bottom part here of this optic. Now, the top part is your thermal part, and they do have a night vision version, but I'm just gonna throw this out there, save up the money, go for the thermal. It is much better. Yes, it costs $600 more, but I think personally it is definitely worth it to spend the extra money. Go with the thermal, and you're gonna have a lot more benefits. So where you're gonna find a lot of people using this and getting this red dot optic thermal, whatever you wanna call it, is where you're gonna want to get into thermal night vision to be able to see at dark without spending that $10,000 to get into it. And you can watch a video here I posted basically going over what to expect and how many things you're gonna have to buy to get into night vision and trying to show you guys the budget options. But this right here blows all that out of the water, and this is gonna save you a lot of money. So now let's jump right into the quality of the thermal itself, and that's really what people are gonna wanna know about this before buying it. In my opinion, I think this is really good quality for the price. If you compare this to a $4,000 thermal, or you're a person that's really into thermals and you have a lot of them, this might be a little underwhelming to you. Now, if you're new into it or you just want to get a gun that's simple setup that runs dedicated like this, both nighttime or daytime, you're going to be really happy with this. The best way I can break this down is if you are a avid hunter and you do a lot of dedicated thermal shooting, this probably isn't for you. This probably isn't exactly what you're going to want, because you probably already have $5,000–6,000 in thermals on top of the rifles and everything else that you have for that equipment, and this might not be exactly what you're looking for. Now, if you're somebody that is looking just to get into night vision or thermal, trying to see at night, don't want to break the bank, or you just want to build a dedicated gun that isn't just for nighttime, that you can use for daytime and night, then this is going to be a product that you'll be a lot more interested in. And I think that really goes into the quality aspect of it. It's really what you're expecting when you get this optic. If you're expecting that high-end stuff because that's what you're used to, this is gonna be a little underwhelming. If you're just now getting into it, or you understand, I'm getting what I get, you're really gonna be happy with this, because for me, it did exceed my expectations of what I thought was gonna be with this setup, and I was pretty happy with it. Obviously, it does have some shortcomings, some downsides that hold it back a little bit, but it is what it is. Again, it is a first generation, so I'm excited to see where they change these things after they listen to the constructive criticism from us, and then they go from there. So let's discuss a couple of those cons. One of them being the fact that there is a slight delay in there. When you move it, it doesn't feel bad at all. It's where you see somebody or a movement, or you have the outline one on, you can see just the ever so slightly delay, and that is to be expected. All thermals do have slight delay unless you get really into those higher end ones, so that is to be expected. Now, one thing I noticed, which is kind of odd, but I noticed it makes almost like a noise, like it's almost like it's reprogramming, or it's like a circuit noise in there, and I don't know if that's just the one I have or they all do that, but I did notice that while shooting it. So at nighttime, when it's completely quiet and you're shooting and you're looking through it, you can hear the static or the machine actually working. So that was something I did notice that I thought was a con. And the next one's gonna be a pro and a con. It does have the magnification setting, so you can go from 1x, 3x, or 5x magnification. I think it's cool that you can throw a digital magnification in there. I will say 1 is good, 3 is decent, and 5 starts to get pretty grainy. And I don't really see a lot of situations that I would use 5x unless I'm just trying to see heat signatures in a distance. If I'm just scanning and trying to maybe see if there's something over the horizon or out in this field, I could see putting up to 5 just to see those heat signatures, but you're not gonna really be able to make any positive ID with that, because it is pretty grainy when you take that magnification up that high. Now, to dispel any of those rumors that has been spread around since this optic was released of saying it's only good to 50 to 100 yards. That's just not true. It does it do better at 50 to 100 yards? Absolutely. But when you're looking at thermal, you want to be able to reach out to more distance than that, especially when you're looking for heat signatures, and this does reach out a lot farther than that. Something that's really cool that I haven't heard really anybody talk about is the fact that you can use this in conjunction with your night vision setup. So if you have a PVCS-14 or binos, you can still run this with the thermal with those as well. So it's kind of neat to be able to use both of those together, and that is honestly the best way that you would be able to run a setup like this, because you have the benefits of both, and the downsides of them kind of get offset by each other. Now, in the B-roll, you've been seeing a lot of video. What's really neat is you're able to record and take pictures, and it's all internal. There's no SD cards. All you do is take this little rubber piece, lift it up, you take the magnet charger, you plug it into your computer, and you can transfer all of your videos, and it holds a lot of storage. It's not like you videotape one 5-minute video and you're full. I have probably about 25 minutes to 30 minutes of video in there, and it's still sending out video with no issues, and I haven't had any problems with that. So as the record feature isn't a must or a necessity, it's a nice addition, especially for those of you that want to go hog hunting, or you just go out plinking and you want to videotape and show your friends of what you were seeing and what you were doing. It is a nice little feature to be able to add that. Now, you have 3 different reticles here in the optic itself. You have the dot, the circle, and then the circle dot. And then up top, you have an actual digital optic if you want to run that. So you can close this, run the thermal, and then run the red dot itself, or you can turn the red dot off and just run the digital reticle. And there's 3 different digital reticles that you can choose from. That's going to be a personal preference. Some people are just going to want to run the digital reticles. Some people just want to run the red dot. It's going to be up to you. Now, it's really neat when you're sighting this in, you don't have to sight both of them in. You're just going to sight your red dot in, and from there, you're able to make the adjustments, which I'll show you guys a little bit later on how to do that. You can move that digital reticle right to where the red dot is and sight it in that way. So you can sight both of the reticles in by just doing it once instead of having to do them individually. So the last thing I want to point out is going to be a big pro to this is when you're building thermal setups, a lot of the times, especially like this gun right here, this is a dedicated night vision rifle. And that is because it has this gigantic night vision optic on there. So daytime, can it be done? Yes, it's just a little clunky. And then like your thermal optics, it's kind of just a nighttime gun. You have one giant optic or you have a clip on that clips over. And with this is truly a daytime and nighttime gun. You can really do whatever you want with this. You can run the thermal while it's daytime. You can not run it. You can turn it off. You can just run the red dot and it's gonna run just fine. So I think that's a really nice pro with this is the fact that it's so compact and small compared to a lot of the other thermals on the market. Yes, you're losing some of that quality. Yes, you're using some of that clarity, but you're gaining the fact that you have one setup for everything. This is truly a do-it-all setup right here. Once I throw my suppressor on here, this would be about perfect. And I can shoot at daytime, run everything I want to, use my flashlight for low light if I want to, and then switch over to thermal when it's pitch black and I don't want to run the white light. You have this little black cover right here. What's nice is you can shoot your rifle in daytime with that cover on. There's no problems with that. But if you want to, you can drop that down. You also have a clear one in the back. So you have your lens covers, which are a nice little addition. I've noticed the Holosun's been doing a lot. You can flip that down and cover that. So you can protect your optic and accessories that way. And then your actual windage and elevation, they're tactile, they're nice, easy to click. And like I said, if you're familiar with the AMS and Holosun products, you know they make good red dots. So really the durability of this, I'm not worried about. It is another con that I will mention. The height of this thing is pretty crazy. But I know somebody in the comments is gonna say, well, sell it to the Unity Tactical Riser guys because their optics are way up there anyway. So for those guys, it's gonna be pretty normal. Now let's get to the part where we discuss how all the buttons and everything work and run you through that. So you're able to press this button right here. That's gonna be your power button. That's gonna be the power button for your thermal. Now your power button for your red dot is gonna be like your traditional red dot. You get a plus and a minus button. You're just gonna press that plus button, that'll turn it on. You can dim it, you can make it brighter. You can press the minus button, hold it, you can change your reticles, or you can press both at the same time and that will turn your optic off. So let's go over how these buttons work, because at first, you're gonna start pressing these and be like, okay, none of this makes sense. Why isn't this working? Well, we're gonna break it down and show you exactly how to work this. So it'll be easier and you can run through it a lot quicker. So going for the top left, you have this magnifying glass. That's going to be pretty self-explanatory. You press it, it's going to go through your magnification settings. You have a 1x, 3x, and a 5x magnification. You can cycle through those with that. And then if you hold it, that is actually going to do a refresh or a cycle on your thermal itself. It's going to try to help with that latency and all the things. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I know that crap. But whatever is internally here, you can hold that and that'll just do a restart real quick. So if you're having any issues, you're like, things are kind of delaying, hold that, let it do a refresh, restart, and it might fix those issues. Then going down, you have the sun button. You press that, that's going to cycle through your brightness. If it's really dark out, you're going to want to bring that down a little bit. Now, if it's starting to be a little more daylight, you'll want to bring it up so you can see a little bit better. So you can run through those. And then if you hold that, that's actually going to change your style of thermal. So you can have white hot, black hot, and there's one that does the outline. So you're able to switch through those to pick which one you prefer. Top right, you have the up button. When you press that, that'll take a picture of what you're looking at. And if you hold it, it'll actually record. And then there'll be a blue light that will emit right here. And it'll show you in your display that you're recording. And I don't really love the blue light. I guess realistically, if I was using this for defensive purposes, I probably wouldn't be recording it. Maybe I would, I don't know. It'd be a cool video. But the blue light was kind of annoying, but I do understand that the reason you're recording is just for probably hog hunting or something like that. So it's not that big of a deal for like a defensive or tactical type thing. And then when you press the down button, that's going to change the color or brightness of your reticle itself. I believe it changes like kind of the color of it. So it goes with different backgrounds depending which setting of thermal you have. And then when you hold it, you can actually change and rotate between 3 different reticles. It's going to be a personal preference depending which one you want to go with. I'm probably just going to run the red dot with a thermal overlay and not have the reticle, the digital reticle in there. When you're going through your settings, you're going to use the OK button. That is going to move forward. Now, if you want to go backwards, because I was really confused for a while because I just have to keep resetting the camera or the optic because I didn't know how to go backwards, you hold the OK button. That'll go backwards. So it'll just be a little bit easier for you to manipulate your menu settings. Now, if you want to actually zero this, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to press OK. You're going to go down to calibrate. Then you're going to go down to reticle. And then from there, you're going to be able to sight that in to your red dot and make those basically the same without having to actually sight it in. So that gives you the basic function of this optic and how to run through it, at least get you into trouble, but you're probably going to want to run through the manual a couple of times just to really make sure you understand everything about this, because this does have quite a bit of features and it is a pretty cool little optic. And I hope this video was able to help you make a better purchase decision, decide if this is the optic for you, or if you want to hold off and maybe spend a little bit more money and get a more dedicated thermal, or wait till a Gen 2, because again, like I said, this is just the Gen 1. So imagine this is the first thing they came out with. What they're already thinking about and what they're coming out as a Gen 2, I'm really, really excited about. But definitely a cool optic that I think is awesome, that I would recommend to people that are looking to get into night vision, that want that do everything setup, a gun that does it all. This is really gonna do it, and it's gonna give you a lot of options without breaking that bank and spending $4,000, $6,000, $10,000 to get a night vision on top of all the other things you have to buy. Because even the clip-ons, you know, a lot of people will argue and say, well, just get a clip-on. That gives you the same thing, gives you a daytime and a nighttime. Yeah, okay, well, the clip-ons are still going to be $2,000, $4,000, $6,000 for that clip-on, and then you still have to buy an optic for that to clip onto. So now you have another $1,000 scope on another $300 mount. You know, you're still looking at that really high-end price. Yes, you got the better quality, and if that's what you want, then absolutely go with that. But for those of you that don't want to spend as much but still want to get into it with a do-it-all setup, I think this is what you're going to want. This is a pretty long video, but I really wanted to go over all the details and really break this one down, because this is going to be definitely a popular item once these hit the market. I imagine they're going to be pretty difficult to find in stock, but take a look at Brownells. They're really nice. Unfortunately, I can't say a whole lot about them, but go to tacticalvisor.net and find out how nice they are through there. But I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. And check out Howitzer Clothing. They donate 5% of proceeds to charity, and they donated over $2.5 million so far, and they're incredible. And they have a Tactical Visor t-shirt, which is really cool. And there's a lot of other ways that you guys can support the channel. Tacticalvisor.net. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.